day. Not Taco Tuesday like it was yesterday. So I noticed some of you watched me on the morning show yesterday. They're in Portland, Oregon. Portland has a little place in my heart because my mom grew up there a lot. So last October I took her during the fall colors, and we went all over Portland down to Eugene, and went all around there to some of the little places she used to live. She was raised in logging camps part of the time, and her father, my grandfather, he was an executive chef at those, and I'm not a chef because of him, because it came later. Maybe I am, you just never know. It could be from hereditary, but I don't know. But anyway, my mom loves Portland, and so do I. So if you haven't seen the show, you can look on my Facebook. And if you're wondering who in the world I am, my name's George Geary, and I teach all over the country when we're allowed to. And when we aren't, I'm doing it from my kitchen. And that's what's great. I normally would fly up to Portland and do the morning show, or drive down to San Diego to do my morning show down there at CBS. Or, I did Los Angeles last Friday or Thursday, and that was KTLA. In fact, all my neighbors saw, and they were glad that I gave a shout out that I am watching them, because I give them samples of the food that we do here. And before I keep going, let's welcome Neil. There's Neil. Neil's excited. He's been telling everybody he's got to get to his second... What? Okay, that's enough out of you. He's been telling everybody that he's had to get to his second job today of being filming. So
Yes, I get paid in food.
Well, he's trying to get that Emmy, so just letting you know. And he ate some peach pie from yesterday. And how was the peach pie?
Really good.
And he tells the truth,
really
even though he
delicious.
eats almost anything.
Yeah.
You were worried about the peach pie yesterday would have too much alcohol in it.
Too much alcohol, and I thought the marshmallows would make it really, really sweet, but it wasn't.
See, the whipped cream didn't have sweetness. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go back tomorrow of yesterday's Tuesday's show that's on YouTube, and you'll see the peach pie that I did. And it was a marshmallow peach pie. It was really, really good. Well, we've got four recipes today, and I'm gonna go quicker. I was shocked on Monday when I downloaded it. It was an hour, and Neil said it's because you talk too much. So I'm not gonna talk as much today, even though people want to know my stories because they might be in them stories. So we're going to do ranch dressing, homemade, completely from my salad dressing book or my sauce book. It's in both places. Then we're going to do a BLTA pasta salad. Bacon, lettuce, tomato, avocado. Bacon, lettuce, tomato, and pasta. Oh, here's our bacon. And you know what? I made the bacon. I fried it a couple days ago and then just crumbled it. And I just love bacon. Mostly the bacon that we get close to us is just applewood bacon that's so good. And I had 2 pounds of it because I was working with doing some stuff. And then we have, like I said, our ranch dressing and our salad. Then we have a banana cake because I had some bananas that were going old. And then cream cheese icing. So we've got a busy day. Let's do our ranch dressing first. A lot of you buy the little packet. You can do that, but don't buy the squeeze bottle. There's something with that squeeze bottle that doesn't taste right to me. So we've got buttermilk. And we have sour cream. And a whip that just decided to fly out. That was good, wasn't it? That was a good flip.
That'll go on the blooper reel.
No, I'm gonna let you see it, so I'm not gonna. And then we've got a little bit of. I'm looking to see. I'm just looking to see everything. A little bit of granulated sugar. Then we have all of our herbs, and we've got onion flakes, basil, thyme, parsley, and black ground pepper. Now, if you don't have a lot of spices and you don't have them in your cupboard, like my spice cupboard, you should start looking into getting spices because they add so much to your recipes. And there's our salad dressing. This has sour cream instead of a mayonnaise base. But we're gonna put that in the fridge for, see, there it is. Do you wanna do a close-up of that? And
Looks like ranch.
Looks like ranch, tastes like ranch. It'll taste better in about an hour, around in there, so when we need it. So I'm gonna put it in here. I'm not covering it because I'm gonna use it right away. So now, let me get that whisk up. I tend to buy bowls and platters, if you've seen, and here is a trifle dish. And I thought, why don't we just do a salad in the trifle dish for kind of a presentation? You can do this on a platter, but I think it looks better on a trifle dish. So what we have is bacon, lettuce, and tomato, and avocado here. And then we've got some elbow macaroni. Well, I don't know why it's called elbow, but maybe it's supposed to look like your elbow. I've got to ask my Italian friends why they call it elbow macaroni. And we're going to layer this so you can see through it. And in fact, probably a week after next, we'll do an Italian trifle. So, because I've got some biscotti in there that I can use to do. So I just love making trifles. So we're going to put this. You saw I chopped everything, and that's what my problem was yesterday or Monday. Was I was doing all the bruschettas and I was taking my time and talking, so that way I thought I'd do it quicker. Here's a pound of the elbow, so we're gonna do half of everything. So take half of this, place it in my, and you want to make sure you get to the edges because the edges is what shows the beautiful. And then we're going to take half of our lettuce, because that will pack down a little bit. So we want to make sure that's on the edges. Then we're going to take half of our tomatoes, and we can salt and pepper in between this too. See how the edges have, you can see it? How's that look, Neil?
Pretty, but it needs to be more even.
Don't you be telling me how to do. I don't tell you how to do your job. Years ago, I saw a comedian that I won't tell you who it is because we were a little embarrassed. But somebody was yelling. It was at an Indian casino, and he yelled back. Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. And she yelled, and she said, because somebody was like hassling her about how to do something, or you know, trying to one up her, and she said, I don't come to your work and teach you how to dance on a pole, so shut up. I thought, that's pretty good. All right, so here is our bacon. It's only about half. And then we will go with our avocado. And since I've got, these avocados are perfect. I was telling Neil, avocados, even though we do live in the avocado area, and you can go down our highway, which is right behind our house, towards San Diego and pick up avocados. They do the little tiny ones that they don't take to the market, and those, they do like 15 for $1 or for $5. And I haven't gone down that way because that's the way to the San Diego station, and I haven't really gotten to go that way lately. But these came from our produce market box that I do. So I'm trying to make sure. I might need all of on this. Yeah, probably could have used some more avocado, but I want to make sure we get it all.
You have another slice.
Huh?
You have another slice.
Yeah, but I'm doing this twice. I'm layering. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. But I just want to make sure you can see it all. We got bacon, we got okay, now we're going to take a little bit of our dressing, And this will soak down into it really nice. And then we're gonna do it again. We wanna finish up with some lettuce, so we're gonna do more pasta. And this really tastes good. What I did is I took the pasta, cooked it, and I wanted it to cool down, but I added a little bit of basil oil into it. See, just like that. And now we don't want the avocado to be up on top or it will brown really quick. If it's inside everything, nobody will see it. Does that look nice?
Very nice.
Very nice.
Looks like dinner.
Guess what? You're right. And trying to get, like I said, on the edges so you see it. Dead center, no one cares because you won't see that part. Let me do the avocado. We're gonna do this last avocado. Then we're gonna put some, oh, I should have salted and peppered. Let me do some salt and pepper. Just a little bit. And I think I need more pepper. And we're gonna finish it off with greenery on top. And a little bit of tomato. Now you can make this a couple hours before if you put the avocado inside so you don't see it on top. It still will brown a little bit, but not as much with that dressing sitting on top of it. We've got some tomato. And just gonna put tomato in the dead center for presentation. And more dressing. Where'd my spoon go? I'll get another one. And just put a little bit. Now this, you can do it without the dressing and have the dressing on the side. Either way, it is a perfect salad. So anyway, think of putting your salad into a bowl like that. Looks good, doesn't it?
Looks great.
Neil's like, dinner. Anyway, we'll be right back to make our banana cake next. So the next thing is banana cake, but I called it banana pecan cake bars. And the reason why you say bars, cake and bars, is you get more servings. You can do 24 servings out of this instead of 12 if it was just cake. And they're just smaller bars, but you can do either way. So we're gonna put our pan together first. And this is, now look at your pans. And same thing with circular pans, 9-inch rounds. This is a 9x13, and this industrial pan that you can get, I used to have them on my website, so they're Magic Line. And if you look, the edges are L shape to where they're even. Don't use those glass pans that are beveled. Those are casserole dishes. And the square is so much easier. Now with this, I'm not gonna do the foil. Sometimes I do foil for bars. I'm gonna take a Pam type spray. This is Vegeline, but you can use Pam. Vegeline is an industrial food release that they use in bakeries that I bought at the industrial warehouse, but it doesn't really matter. I take paper, parchment paper that's the size. I just do a squirt on the bottom so the paper stays. And I make sure the paper is all around the edges because I don't want the mixture to get in between the paper and the pan. And then I spray the edges. That's it. The oven is preheated at 325. And now we have all of our ingredients. Now we have a cream cheese icing we're gonna do. And the reason why I did this is because I had so many bananas. I keep throwing them in a bag in the freezer, and I noticed my freezer bag of bananas has probably 20 bananas in it. So I thought I better do something. We're using cake flour. Cake flour, I've mentioned before, it's milled from winter wheat and it's softer. It doesn't have all the gluten in it, and that's what we want to go with, cake or pastry, in case you buy pastry flour. So we're going to do that. Then we have baking soda, salt, and baking powder. We're going to take that, and just with a whisk, I don't sift a whole lot. I've got a few cakes that I sift, and when I tell you to sift, like out of my baking book, I really mean it, but I can't stand to sift. Just like that. Everything's room temperature. The eggs have been sitting out for a couple hours. The frozen banana's been sitting out. The butter's out. So now we have a cup of butter softened, and softens room temperature. Blend that up, and then we have our sugar goes in. We're gonna want that to be a little bit on the, I would say, soft, fluffy side. I used to say fluffy. We had a dog named Fluffy. How many dogs do you have? 3? I think we had 4. No, 5, 6. Over the years, you know, when you're a kid.
One I don't remember because I was really little.
Oh, I was like, why didn't you remember your dog? You just knew there was a dog around.
I
In
was like
pictures?
3 when we didn't have it for long because I was.
Oh, that was the one you had in Berlin, wasn't it?
No, it was the one I had in Colorado.
Oh. So anyway, after it's whipped up nice, then we're going to take about 2 minutes, and then we're going to add the eggs one at a time. Remember, we're building body. This could make 2 rounds or 24 cupcakes, but we're doing a 9 by 13. So 1 egg, let that mix up. And we've got vanilla going in. Let me put the vanilla in the eggs. I keep telling you I do that all the time because I think I'm going to forget it. 2 teaspoons. Vanilla enhances the flavor and just adds to it. We got 3 large eggs. I kept thinking 2. Before I do the very last egg in anything, even when I do cheesecakes, I will take and scrape the sides. Scrape the sides. And the 2 eggs, and that's our 3rd egg. Now what we have is, okay, I'm just looking to make sure I'm doing it the same way I'm telling you. We gotta add the eggs in, the bananas, as it slops everywhere. Neil, get a close up because it coagulates. When the bananas get in there, it looks like something's wrong. And I want you to know that nothing is wrong. And there's our buttermilk. And I get the question, do I have to use buttermilk? Yes. It gives it a nice sour taste. And if you don't, and you use regular milk, and then you call me up or you email me and say, oh, it didn't work as well as I thought. Not my problem. We had this one gal that worked with me at Disney, and she came in one day. She asked me for a recipe. All the flour goes in this recipe. She asked me a recipe for some of those bran muffins. Wow, I really noticed it with this one. These bran muffins, you know, the kind that are kind of gooey on the bottom. And I had a recipe and I gave it to her and she said, oh great, that's what I wanted. Next day she brought these little hockey pucks into work and I said, what did you make? She says, oh, your recipe. I said, those are not my recipe. She says, yeah. I took and I changed. I go, wait a minute, what did you change? Well, I didn't want to use sugar, so I used honey. And I didn't use all-purpose flour. I used whole wheat. And all these changes, it's not my recipe at that point. You've changed it so much that this is chemical. And if you're going to change it, it's fine if you change it, but don't say it's my recipe, because people will think I don't know how to cook, which sometimes I question myself. Alrighty. It's kind of like the first week I talked about that cheesecake where, oh, Neil's wanting the batter. You can have it after we finish filming today, because nope, you can't have it. I'm doing cream cheese frosting next. So now we're gonna go all the way down to the bottom, make sure it's all, and bananas make this so moist. Now at this point, instead of a half a cup of pecans, you could also add a half a cup of chocolate chunks and make it a banana chocolate chip. Or you can add more chocolate chips and pecans. That you can change. You just don't change. You can add additions into things. You just can't change things where you're changing the oils or the fats or the flours. When you do that, you create a different recipe. But adding some pecans additional or walnuts instead, that all is fine. There was one school I was teaching at, I hardly ever use walnuts. It's always pecans. One day he says, George, pecans are 5 times the cost. And you keep saying you can use walnuts if you want. Why don't you use walnuts in your recipes? So I switched because the cost was, I didn't realize. So now we smooth this out to the edges. Nice and even. And this will bake for about 35 minutes. We're going to check it. So make sure we get all the batter. Some Neil has none. Oh, we can't have our cameraman cry. Anyway, we'll be back to make our cream cheese icing in just a second. Make sure I remembered everything. Yep, I did. See, our banana cake's in the oven, and now we're going to make our cream cheese icing. I know you've probably heard this before, but I tell you again, just in case it's the first time watching me. And I think some tips everybody knows. But if you're going to put cream cheese and butter together, you want them to be like textures and softness. So our cream cheese is pretty soft if you do that, but our butter is still pretty hard, even though these were room temperature for a couple hours. So what I'm going to do is cut the butter up, put it in the mixer for a little bit, just to soften it up, and then I'll put the cream cheese in, then I'll put the sugar in, and then Neil's going to show you, do a close-up so you can see how much heavy cream you'll need or milk. So here's our butter going in just to soften it up. Do not microwave the butter. If you microwave it, it melts from the inside out, and then doesn't work. Then you have liquefied, and then you wonder why it doesn't work. So, were you thinking of microwaving it, Neil?
No.
Good boy. So there's our cream cheese in there. So whenever I'm doing cheesecakes and things like that, I want everything room temperature, and I open all the packages up and I do the same thing. I might not put everything perfect like that, but like I do when I'm doing a show or a class. There's our cream cheese is all around here. Now I created this recipe so we use a whole 2-pound bag or 2 boxes of C&H sugar, powdered sugar. And do you know the song?
C&H.
Oh, you don't sing.
Sugar.
So
From Hawaii.
Growing
in the sun.
Is that how it goes?
Yep.
I was back east and they had never heard of C&H sugar.
Oh, really?
Because I thought, well, maybe it's only California and Hawaii.
Maybe.
And they use beet sugar a lot there, and this is all cane sugar. And a lot of baking recipes don't work with beet sugar. You need the cane. Like Spreckles, I believe that was beet. That was beet.
It was?
I believe so. Spreckles is close to where Neil was raised. And now we have our vanilla. 1 teaspoon. You were raised 4 different places, I must say. Monterey Peninsula, Berlin,
Get my life story.
Colorado, and
Massachusetts.
outside of Boston. It was funny, we went to where he was raised, and he always talked about that the school was down this big, huge hill from the house. Well, it was government housing because Neil's dad was in the military, and we went. You
It all
could,
shrunk.
you could probably throw a baseball and hit the window from the house to the, it was only 3 houses down. All right, now let's look in here. That's when you're a kid, you think things are very far away. So this is before I put any cream in. You can see it's like plastic.
What is this vibrating loose?
No. And so we're going to put a little bit of cream into it. And it will get softer. It's kind of close to the buttercream. See how it's kind of meringue like? I'm going to take and scrape the sides and scrape the sides and the paddle just to make sure I don't have any big chunks of butter and you can see how thick it is. This way we need to get some air in there. This is a thicker icing than buttercream. Let me turn this around so I can get to it.
That's thick.
Yeah. Yeah, but oh, it's so good. I'll add the rest.
Smells great.
And there we go. We'll add some air into it, and then it should be good. If you want, you can add a little bit of almond flavor to it too. They only can hear that mixer and not me talking when it's on. When it mixes, you can see the sides of the wall are nice and flat. You don't have big chunks of cream cheese or butter. And that's because we did that thing ahead of time. So we're going to take a bowl scraper, which, get my bowl scraper. And we will put this off to the side, and we will ice our banana, the anticipation of what it is, banana bars after they cool down. So they'll cool down for about 45 minutes. So we'll be back after that, and we'll put this all together. So our cake cooled down. The salad, we couldn't even wait to eat it for dinner. Now, remember I told you this we're going to be doing 24, so that's 4 by 6. So you kind of have to guesstimate. Kind of go, okay, there's the, all right, so you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm doing a swirl on each. You could ice the whole thing if you want. But look at this platter. It makes it seem like it's a lot more than it really is. So now we want 6 here. So and we need 4 in between. So we're eyeballing it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that person doesn't get as much. That's a little low. They're on diets on this side. Let's just say you don't have enough icing and you started to do this. Just put some icing on top if you want. But you could do like I did the brownies on that first week when I took. Now, the other thing is, after you do this, if you have a lot of icing left over, you can just do swirls all over the whole thing. Just like this. And you don't, this is part of your decorating. And this does make a lot of icing. So you just do swirls all over the whole top and cut it the way you want. You've got a lot of different ways of finishing this cake up. And like I said, just take a spatula, keep it in the pan if you want. I took it out of the pan and I took the paper off. One time at Disney, I had an event that I didn't take the paper off on the bottom. And Michael Eisner was at the event. I kind of got a talking to, but the day before I had just won the first culinary medal for the company, so they kind of overlooked my little problem. I've been up all night the night before. So you do little swirls like that, and looks a little low over here. Still got some icing. I have to use it all or Neil will eat it. That might be why Neil has a little headache tonight. Too much icing.
Sugar.
Too much sugar. Too much icing. So, and if you don't like these, you can just go ahead, take an offset spatula, and ice the whole thing if you want. I'm trying to just fill in the holes now, and just like that. Alrighty, so there is our banana cake, and we did our salad, and we'd like to thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, and don't forget, wear your mask.